So a lot of mixed reaction in former Conservative MP Chris d'Entremont's riding after he crossed the floor and joined the Liberal Party, okay? This is all according to CTV News. The Nova Scotia MP says his decision to switch parties came down to two things: serving his constituents better and issues that he's having with Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre's leadership. Okay, is crossing the floor ever okay?
Is anyone interested in another election in a month or so? Yeah, me neither. So the way that I understand this, if a couple more people cross the floor, they'll have the majority to pass the budget, and we won't have another election. So in this particular case, I'm like, two more people, please cross the floor. I don't want to vote again.
I mean, I get it from that perspective. I think what I really would like to know is actually how his constituents are feeling. Did he go around? Did he actually hear from them? Did they say the same thing? Because otherwise, like, people voted for a certain party. And so I can see how this would be really, really...
Like a betrayal.
Like a betrayal of some kind, you know what I mean?
I'm also interested in, did he talk to them? And I'm going to assume he did. I'd like to think the best of people, and that he assumed that what was best for his constituents promoted this move. And I actually wish this happened more often.
Yeah.
And because I think politics, we've fallen into parties more than issues. And he has said that the budget was one of the things that moved him in this direction because he felt like the budget was going to help the people in his constituency. So for me, I wish this happened more. I think there are young voters coming up who much prefer people over parties. They're more likely to vote for independence. So I think this is courage of conviction, and I like the idea of doing this instead of just falling in line with the party whip and doing whatever the party says because you are a conservative.
Interesting.
You know,
Good point.
it's interesting because it goes back to Jess's point that the reason why, you know, the party whip, which is the person whose job it is to make sure that enough bums are in seats for votes, those roles actually become really important in a minority government. And the Liberals are in a minority government situation. You will actually, maybe, hopefully avoid elections if the party, I mean, our democracy as this parliamentary situation that we have here, you need people to still align to party lines. Otherwise, you will constantly be facing confidence votes. There's going to constantly be, and I don't want an election. I don't think anybody wants an election. But should we rely on people crossing the floor to avoid the election? Obviously not. In this particular case, I just want to take a little sidestep. D'Entremont, depending on how you translate his last name, I translate it as between two mountains or between a rock and a hard place.
No way!
And
That is so cool!
He is in a rock and a hard place because half of his constituents that have been polled or talked to, at least by CTV News, are saying, this is great that he did this. There are the other half of his constituents who've been spoken to who say, this is a betrayal. And unfortunately, if you look at history, he is going to pay a price for doing
exactly
this.
it.
Don't you think that makes it more courageous when, in all likelihood, he's not going to get reelected?
Let's see. I mean, since the 70s, people who have crossed the floor this way usually don't get elected again.
Yeah.
Really?
So let's see what happens.
And people get really upset about this. I mean, I don't know if you remember back when Stephen Harper was Prime Minister, there was a Liberal named David Emerson who crossed the floor actually just days after winning Vancouver Kingsway. So people were so outraged. It actually triggered an ethics investigation.
Really?
Now, both he and Harper were cleared of that. But I think a lot of people, it's true, you end up ruining your own career. So it is courageous. I guess it's that question of like, though, like, is it okay if it's just simply the person who feels like their value system doesn't align any longer with the leader?
But that's
like,
the courageous part. Like, that's where it does feel like a scene out of a movie. He's being heroic. Do you know what I mean? But then, if I were one of the people who voted for him and I still felt represented by that party's leader, I'd be like, wait a second, I would feel really aggrieved.
Yeah. I also just love the pettiness of crossing the floor. Like, I know there's all the academic political stuff, but do you guys remember when Belinda Stronach in 2005 crossed? Think about I was rereading it today. She was like a prominent conservative dating Peter MacKay, the deputy leader. By all accounts, she goes to his place for dinner. They have a nice dinner. Then she goes and sees Paul Martin, comes back, tells her boyfriend she's going to cross the floor, does it the next day. He goes to his farm with the dog in mourning. Like, this is the stuff of Bravo.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Bravo!